Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, and today we're going to be asking, what if Rome survived into the Middle Ages? So, what if the Roman Empire started falling, but then didn't? So we've still got the Western Roman Empire in like parts of Hispania and parts of, like parts of Africa and of course Italia, but let's say that they lost the majority of France and all of England, giving rise to the kingdoms that we know from the Middle Ages, which is the Kingdom of France and the Kingdom of England. So today we're going to be looking at what if Rome decided to try and take back the Kingdom of France during the Middle Ages. So Rome has not fallen. We've got the Byzantines, aka still called the Eastern Roman Empire, on one side doing their thing, and then we've got the remains of the Western Roman Empire, which has sort of stabilised but is not quite as great as it once was, and that's what we're going to be looking at here. So, why is there one extra... You, get out of formation, you're not meant to be there. So yes, what we've got here is we have got some Roman units versus Middle Ages French units, and we're going to be looking at who will win. So I was going to be using my normal Roman units, aka the legionaries, the triarii, the velites, all of that, praetorians, but then I thought they didn't have them at the time of Rome falling anyway, and we're now like 500 years after Rome fell in real history, so they wouldn't be using them. So instead I'm using my late Roman units from my Byzantine faction, which I have got right here. So we've got, where are they? Here we go. What are they called? Comitatenses. Yes, that's the replacement for the legionaries. Comitatenses. And so what I've got here is I've got my typical Roman battle formation standard, which is a 7x3 of them, but instead of legionaries they are these comitatenses. We have got the centurion right here, with his transverse crest and the Roman oval shields, which they had at the end of the empire instead of the regular rectangular scutum. They had these oval shields, so these are just the centurion shields from the base game. And of course they've got, instead of gladius, they have got a regular short sword to make it different. And of course we don't have velites, we instead have got late Roman Sagittarii, which is aka the Roman auxiliary archers. They're called Sagittarii or Sagittarius, Sagittarii, but in my Roman faction I just call them auxiliary archers, but they should be called that. So instead of velites behind, we've got these archers, and so we've got the main central line of the 7x3, and then we've got a 5x3 on one flank with Sagittarii behind, as well as a signifier on each of them. And then on this flank we have got, instead of velite skirmishers, we have got Sagittarii skirmishers instead, and they're going to be peppering some arrows in. And then behind them we have got the replacement for the Praetorian Guard, which is the Domesticus. We have got a Domesticus Centurion right here, and then we've got a 5x2 quad of Domesticus right there, along with a legate and a signifier. So that's what we've got in place there. I'm actually going to have to give them a couple more because of how I've laid out the French here. No, those are regular comitatenses. We want Domesticus. There we are. Boop, 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 boop. So there we go. So we've got a 7x2 row. Due to how I set up the French Crusaders, that I try and balance these elite units so that they have got the same either side. But yes, so that's what we've got for the Roman Empire. For the medieval French Kingdom of France, we have got 2 rows of 14 men-at-arms, or sorry, no, 2 rows of 12 men-at-arms, which are these guys at the front with the French get-up. They've got some light chainmail, sort of chainmail head covering, along with a sort of tall pointed hat, which is what the French had, and this is the best that I can do for the French. So yeah, we got them. We've then got one line of 12 French macemen, who have got these funny looking hats, and yeah, they've just got some better armour, some more traditional medieval armour, and they've got their maces obviously, and they've also got circular shields. And then we've got the main French knights, which are these guys. The French knights were the ones which had that sort of pointed beak style helmet, but the best I can do are these style helmets, so this will have to do. They've also got these, what's in the base game as jouster shields, but they're more like heater shields, and they've just got their regular sword as well, medieval sword. So we've got one row of 12 of them. And then behind them, for the French elite units, we have got these French Crusaders, which are sort of on par with Domesticus, I think. But don't quote me on that, I can't remember the stats I gave them. But yes, these guys, they're bigger, they've got their big old shields, they're coated in armour, and they are, you know, just the French Crusaders, the French elite units, and this guy's got a very tiny head. And then behind them, instead of any sort of French archers, we have got these French arbalists, which are the French crossbowmen. And then we've got the French king, which is actually better than a legate. The French king here has got more health, I believe, than the legate, and of course he's also got all of this armour, not to mention he's got a bigger shield than the legate and a bigger sword than the legate. So I think in a one-on-one fight the legate would lose against the French king in all of his armour. But even so, we'll have to see how well this goes. So, the Romans have got a pretty similar amount of cost in comparison to the French, but they do have one extra effective, not counting the signifiers. And so, yeah, the French have got slightly higher cost, but the Romans have got one extra effective, 74 versus 73, due to the signifiers. But the Romans do have a lot more archery units in comparison to the French, but even so, we'll have to see how well this goes. So, without further ado, can the might of Rome reclaim their empire, or will they fall to the dust? So, of course, the Romans are going to want to head forwards, but the French are going to be the ones attacking here. But even so, the comitatenses will want to advance. Obviously, the arbalists do fire first over the Sagittari, but the comitatenses can block the projectiles, and in go the Sagittari. And of course the archers, oh yes, they're going to take out a lot of those French men-at-arms who are not particularly well armoured. And of course in go the front rows of comitatenses, and in goes the second row. They're all now going to get bogged down against the men-at-arms and the macemen. Going in at a bit of a weird formation. They didn't all go in as one, they sort of went in a bit, sort of two waves, which was not the best of idea. Obviously a lot of these French units are currently sitting down, but that's because they just charged, so they're just sort of on the floor. In go all of the French knights though, and all of the French Crusaders. And quite honestly, in this combat, the Romans are not going to win this, due to, oh my god, this French Crusader almost got shot by his own arbalist. But yes, in this case, as 3 Romans just go down right there. The Crusaders are going to have the edge due to the fact that the Domesticus are not currently involved in the combat. Looks like one Domesticus has actually been brought in here. That's not the Centurion. The Centurion has got a slightly lighter coloured plume on him. It looks like, yes, for the most part, the Roman force has been taken out by the French, although the French have lost a fair amount of their own units. There's still some men-at-arms up, though. We've got the last few comitatenses being taken out here by the French Crusaders, although one of the Crusaders has died. That is something to note. The French king is also involved. Here he is. The French king is now taking out these pesky Romans. It looks like, yeah, the Domesticus, oh no, he's still alive, in charges one of the French Crusaders there. We've got a French knight here facing off against the Sagittari. Oh, this French knight very lucky to not get impaled by one of the Sagittari. And yep, the Crusaders are now starting to get involved in the Sagittari that were behind the main Roman line, and the Domesticus are finally getting involved. In they go, the Roman elites. In comes the king. Obviously, we've got, oh, interesting. One of the comitatenses is coming to try and take out the arbalists, which Not a bad idea, I suppose. One Roman should hopefully take out those guys. Looks like the Domesticus starting to tangle with the Crusaders here and the king. Oh yeah, we've got a couple of Domesticus here. Where is the Domesticus Centurion? Here he is. He's defending his Sagittari. Oh, Crusader shield just goes flying, which means that they did manage to take out one of them, though the French king is charging in here. Yeah, we got some very nice clashes going on, and it looks like over here the final few Romans have died. It's the Crusaders leading the charge. We've still got a couple of men-at-arms up. We've still got a mace man in here as well, charging in. Oh, against the Domesticus, who neatly charges back, pushes over the Crusader there. We've got a mace man here tangling with a couple of Domesticus. Yeah, indeed. Oh my God, that's a lot of Domesticus charging in. We've actually got the Domesticus Centurion charging in as well. You can tell he's the Centurion as well because he's got a different coloured cape in comparison to the others. The French king really getting involved. The legate is sitting back here still, though. He's well, keeping track of the army, I suppose. Oh, French knight charging in. Finally tried to take out the Sagittari back here. It looks like the Comitatenses that tried to attack the Arbalist did not manage. He did not manage. He got crossbowed somewhere. And it looks like the Crusader here, yeah, he's under no threat from the archers. That being said, though, there's only a couple of French units left alive. The king is not one of them. The king is dead. Long live the Emperor. Long live the Emperor. We've got about 3 Crusaders left versus the remaining Roman. Versus the remaining Roman. What are they? Domesticus units. Yeah, it looks like this Crusader was finished off over here. We can see the King's shield there. There's the French King's shield. Yeah, it looks like it's just these 2 last Crusaders. The Sagittari did manage to take out the French knight that charged at them without casualties, which is pretty impressive. And looks like, yeah, here's one of the Crusaders. Oh, gets taken out by a swift shot to the face. Oh, one of the Sagittari missiles just completely parted the plumage on that Domesticus's headdress, well, helmet. There you go. And it looks like, yeah, the Crusader has been taken out here. It looks like it's just the Arbalists. It is just the Arbalists left for the Romans to take out here. In go the Sagittari. And they're going to be able to reload quicker than the Arbalists. As we can see, they've already started to take out a couple of their number. As we can see, a couple of the dead there. The Arbalists firing, but they're not really going to make too much impression on the elite Roman units here. And in go some more Sagittari missiles. It looks like the Arbalists are not really shooting at these guys, which is what they probably should do. But I think at this point in time, it is in the bag for the Romans. It's just a case of how long it takes for the Sagittari to wipe out these guys before the Domesticus get in and finish them off. Yeah, down goes one of the Arbalists. We've got, how many is that? 8 Arbalists left. One of them's ready to fire his crossbow, but yeah, they're starting to reload now, but they're not really going to make too much headway against the Roman force. Yeah, in goes one. Very nice block. And then the rest of these shots are really not going to make all too much impression. Yeah, bounce. There's another one blocked. And yeah, it's now just a case of these guys getting involved. In they go. Not likely to lose many units here. Taking out the remaining Arbalists. And yep, down they go. So yeah, none of these Domesticus died due to friendly fire, which is what I'm currently looking for right now. Looks like actually one of them died right at the end here. Probably died to a fellow Domesticus, if I'm perfectly honest. But the rest of them here are all still alive. The Domesticus Centurion, I think he might have died right near the end to one of the remaining Crusaders, looking for his different coloured... Yeah, I can't see it. Looking for his different coloured cape, but I can't see it amongst the Domesticus over here. These guys have all got red capes in comparison to his one, which is a far lighter colour. But then again, I can't see it over here either. It must be somewhere. Can't see the Domesticus Centurion about, but I think it's probably relatively safe to say that he is dead. But yeah, as we can see as we pan over this battlefield, the Romans definitely didn't fare great against the forces of the French. I reckon if I'd given the French more knights as opposed to men-at-arms, who are not great at defending against arrows, then the Romans would probably have lost this battle. Because yeah, this is still quite a few dead Romans in comparison to dead Frenchmen. Though there are still quite a few Domesticus left up of their original force, and of course we've still got the legate right at the back, who yeah, he didn't get involved this time. None of the comitatenses survived for the Romans. The only remaining forces, as per usual for these for these tabs battles, were the elite, which are usually the ones that come in second into the battle to swing the tide for one side or the other. But yeah, the French king did die over here, as we can see. The king did indeed go down to the Romans, which I'm sure he's not particularly happy about, but that will definitely have helped boost the morale of the Romans in the empire. There's quite a few dead Frenchmen on this side, though, by the looks of it, in comparison to the main central force, which I'm surprised at. I didn't expect there to be as heavy fighting as there happened over this side. But yeah, of course, we've still got the main block of Sagittari on the flanks, and the arbalists didn't really do particularly all too much against the Romans, as I sort of expected. But yeah, so there we go. Let me do this again though, and I am going to remove these guys, and I am instead going to give them some French knights, and we'll see how well that goes for them. So here we go. I've given them another row of French knights. I've removed one row of men-at-arms, and I've obviously moved up the mace men to be behind the men-at-arms. So yeah, we've just got another row of proper French knights, which are going to be better suited for defending against Sagittari arrows. And I've also moved the Domesticus and the legate and the standard bearer forwards, so that they can actually get into the fight a little bit quicker, to see if that will also help out the French, I suppose, because it will mean that the Domesticus will take some damage before the Crusaders actually manage to come and reinforce the French. So let's see how well this goes for them. So of course the French are still going to advance. They're going to advance straight forwards. The arbalists are of course going to fire first towards the Roman lines, but the Romans are obviously going to be able to block those crossbow bolts. Ping, there we go. Blocking all of them very nicely, and of course the Sagittari are going to fire. They are going to take out some of the men-at-arms here, which is very good. They're also probably going to be able to take out, yep, by the looks of it, a couple of mace men. They've also they took out 2 French knights with that. Sagittari, curb your arrows. They took out 2 French knights. I'm surprised at that. I expected the French knights to be able to, you know, block the shots, but no, the French knights just sort of went straight in and died, which, yeah, a bit surprised at. In goes the comitatenses Centurion on this flank though, and of course the Crusaders are getting involved. We've got the two sides obviously collided straight away, and the Domesticus are not yet involved in combat, but as soon as one of these French knights strays too far over here, they're going to incur the wrath of Rome. And as we can see, we've got a man-at-arms here, nicely behind the Romans. Oh, not for long though. Comitatenses came straight in, smacked him with the shield, took him out nice and quick. The fighting on this side is starting to devolve in favour of the French, yet as they take out another like 4 comitatenses right there in a row. That was very swift. Yeah, we got a Crusader there taking out one of the comitatenses. And yeah, there's not actually all too many of them left. Still got one charging in here. Yeah, looks like the French have absolutely decimated the Roman lines here. But in charges the Domesticus, or at least some of them. And by the looks of it, actually accidentally taken in a couple of Sagittari as they go. We've still got the last few remaining comitatenses. I mean, yeah, we've got one here tangling with a mace man. And we've got, obviously, the Crusader trying his best. Oh, we've got another comitatenses right there, dealing with a French knight. Oh, down goes another comitatenses right there, though. Got some Domesticus here involved. Oh, very close, that French knight, to actually going down. The French king has now got involved, so we've got him coming into the fray. We've still got a couple of comitatenses in the rear here. Oh my god, where were you aiming? Sagittari, you did not aim that shot at all. We have got a couple of comitatenses over here, or possibly just the one. Oh, looks like the arbalists actually managed to finally kill off one of the Romans there with their crossbow bolts. We got that guy down there. We've got one Domesticus there, tangling with a couple of Crusaders. There's not actually too many Crusaders left by the looks of it. We've still got one here flying through the air. We've got one or two here. We've obviously got the French king. We've got one there and two over there, but then that's it really for the French Crusader force. We've still got a mace man over here. We've still got a French knight as well. We've got two Domesticus trying to do their best over here. Looks like the last of the Domesticus, yep, they've now got involved, these guys here, and we've also got this guy here charging in. Oh, French knight coming in, trying to take out possibly a couple of the Sagittari as well as the Domesticus. We've got the French Crusader charging in here, trying to deal with these couple of Domesticus, but not doing all too well. We've still got a mace man here, and a French knight over here who is still alive. He just fell over there. Oh, looks like a Crusader just managed to take out one of the Domesticus here. It looks like they have actually managed to broken through here to the rear of the Roman lines. The legate is involved somewhere. Here he is. Here's the legate. Still got a couple of Crusaders here, and it looks like one of the Crusaders has actually managed to get into the block of Sagittari, which didn't happen last battle. Only one French knight, and he swiftly got shot down. But we've still got some French Crusaders still up. We've got the here he is. We've got the Domesticus Centurion, and he's just charged in, hoping to take out a French knight by the looks of it. And it looks like, yeah, it looks like most of the Sagittari force has been taken out. We've still got one guy here. We've still got a Domesticus here, tangling with a French knight and a Crusader. Yes, got a Crusader here. Got a knight actually charging at the signifier. We've got the legate here, trying to deal with a Crusader. We've got this Crusader in the rear lines here, which is blocking shots from the Sagittari. Manages to take down another one. French king, he's still alive. He's still going for it. As for the remaining Roman force, there's not actually all too many of them left. I thought this might have been going in favour of the Romans, but by the looks of it, actually, they've only got one Domesticus here. We've got, obviously, the legate. We've got one Domesticus over here. We've got a couple of scattered... Yeah, we got a couple of scattered Sagittari, but otherwise, the remaining forces are French. And it looks like they might have been able to take down one more Crusader, but the legate here still trying to deal with the knight, and the Domesticus just died to the combined force of the French king and a French Crusader. The legate is taking a surprisingly long time to actually kill this guy, which not all too sure why, but he's finally managed to kill him there. Looks like the last Domesticus on this side is being harassed by a couple of Crusaders, a mace man, and the remaining the arbalist. I say the remaining arbalist, all of the arbalists are alive. This Crusader's just having a field day taking down these Sagittari. Looks like the legate, he's not dead. He is not dead. The legate he's just been knocked down. Oh, that killed him though. Slash from a French Crusader. Arbalist shot just goes whizzing by there, nearly taking out one of them. And oh, this guy is making a heroic stand. He's taken out one of the knights, and he's also tangling with the Crusader, but it's not enough. The Crusader, very nice shield bash, takes down the last remaining. Yeah, he was definitely the last remaining Domesticus, which means it's down to these last few Sagittari, and well, they're definitely not going to be able to take out a Crusader, and they're not going to be able to take out any of these knights, I don't think, and they're definitely then not going to be able to take out the Arbalists. It's just one Sagittari remaining, this bloke here, and oof, he's just been shield bashed. He's got some knights surrounding him, he's got Crusaders, he's got the French king as well to deal with, and yeah, down he goes. Down he goes to the French Crusader. No big surprise there, but there we go. So obviously, yes, second time round the French did win, as I expected. Still quite close though. Still quite a close battle here. French just about clutched it, but the Romans did have a lot more missile troops in comparison to the French, which had more melee troops. So we have got to bear that in mind. But even so, yes, the French in this case did manage to secure victory against the not quite as mighty Western Roman Empire remaining forces. We've still got a couple of Crusaders left alive. Obviously this guy here, we've got this guy who took out the remaining Sagittari. We've also got this guy and this guy here, which means about 4 Crusaders. I don't think any other ones are still alive. Any left over here are all dead. Yeah, this guy is dead as well. So yeah, we've got 4 French Crusaders, which is a third of the Crusader force still alive, which is not all too bad considering. We've still got 2 French Knights and a French Maceman, which is well done to the Maceman for actually staying alive as well this late into the battle. And of course we've still got the French King, who did not die this time. The legate as well gave it his best shot, as we can see the remains of his last stand. We've got some dead knights, we've got a dead Crusader as well, but eventually the legate did succumb to the overwhelming French forces. And as for the rest of the battlefield here, we can see the dead I want to say Decurion, but he's not. He's Domesticus, the Domesticus Centurion from his cape, and yeah, we've just got a whole load of Roman shields left around here, which symbolises that yes, in this case the Roman army did not manage to win, as I expected. The extra French knights that I gave the French over French men-at-arms definitely did it for them, and this time they did not lose a single arbalist because none of the Sagittari were able to actually turn their attention to them. We've got one of them actually firing a crossbow bolt, which might have hit him, but then judging by this one definitely wouldn't have hit this remaining Sagittari. But yes, so there we go. If you're wondering who would win between the French and a Western Roman Empire which survived into the Middle Ages, judging by these results, if the Romans had less Sagittari than they had in these battles, probably the Romans would win. But when it comes down to missile troops, by the looks of it, yeah, the Romans do not have the edge on that. It's came down to the melee troops, and in this case the Romans had less melee troops, and it did not work out for them. So, there we go. Rome versus France. I'll thank you all for watching, and goodbye.